Hi guys, so before I dub the other video of the tarot cards, I thought dubbing this makes more sense because this is just 20 minutes and I would want Sushant's this message to reach everyone as soon as it can. In this video, I'm not using any cards and this video is completely based upon what I have received so far through my cards, and also yesterday when I did cards, and between yesterday to today there's a lot of download that came to me through his soul, and I'm having like a severe headache since morning this morning, and I thought it's very important to convey his messages to you as to what happened that day, how his murder was planned, why there is so much of confusion, and how many people are involved in it. So I'm going to talk about all of that with you in today in this video. So let's just understand what happened and why there are so many people who are involved in it, why we see so much of confusion and chaos around it, and how and why this murder was planned. So the sense that I get when I started making my videos, and from the first day when I've started taking out tarot cards, and also what I got, the download that I got between yesterday to today, it tells me a lot of things, that this planning, this murder was not like just a murder that happened. It was not just like that. It was something that was planned, but the thing is, I'm going to use the references because I can't take names. I'm going to use the references that I have used in my tarot readings, and you can get back to the videos and see why I'm using those references. So it there was a murder that was planned for Sushantsinghrajput, and that murder was planned by King of Vand and his love interest. So they had planned, and we know it's Rhea, right? So they had planned to kill him, but when they have planned to kill him, that was not right now. That was not when it happened. They planned it, and they planned it in such a way that they will give him drugs, or make him an addict, or put him into depression, or do such things. And once he gets married to her is when they will kill him in a particular way, so that she gets all the property, or the property goes to her and the king of Vans. And that is how it was planned. But before they could execute it, somebody else executed it, and that somebody else is not one person, is not one party. There are multiple people who are involved in it. And how it happened was that Sushant, when he decided to get married to Rhea, which he did, and he did convey that to his family, and some people, some friends, some close ones, he did convey it to them. And when he conveyed it to them, this Queen of Wands, she figured out that she was going to lose control over him. She's going to lose control all on his property, his money, and everything. She's going to lose control on everything that she has been having control of. And she was aware of his apps, and how much more money is going to come in, and everything. She was aware of all of that. And that's when she decided that Sushant, they should get Sushant out of the way, so that the money and everything doesn't go to Rhea. And that's when they decided to murder Sushant. Now, when they decided to murder Sushant, and along with the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and Page of Wands, they were also involved in it. Who all three kind of planned to murder Sushant, and that is when the murder was planned. Now, Sushant was somebody who was not really. He was never bothered about how much money he has, what he has, where the money is coming from, and where it is going. He was into himself. He was into his apps. He was into his developments. He was into stars. He was into all of that. So that was him, that was his energy. And that is when they planned it. And when they planned it, at that point in time, somehow, because he was developing some apps, he was developing certain things. So he was working on certain thing which the Queen of Wands was aware of, and which the King of Swords was aware of as well. Now, before anybody else could do anything, or before King of Wands could do anything, what happened is that Disha's murder happened. And when I say Disha's murder happened, I kind of can see that this murder, though there was human trafficking and all of that, that angle definitely was involved in it, but looks like Disha was involved in more than one thing. So Disha was probably, either Disha knew it or Disha was involved in something. But this murder of Disha that happened, it was purely based upon lust. So it was definitely somebody in that group, somebody in that party, or from those people tried to rape her, and that's when this whole thing happened. And that happened, and Sushant got to know about it. When Sushant got to know about it, Sushant really wanted to do like a press conference or something, and Sushant wanted to get it out completely, and Sushant wanted to take an action on that. While this was happening, because Sushant was also working on his apps and everything, and King of Swords probably wanted either these apps to be in his name, or he wanted the money to come from these apps to him. And that is when he was also planning to do something with Sushant. So now there are three, parties, I would say, three kind of set of people who wanted to harm him, or who wanted to kill him, rather four, because fourth one was planning it a little later. And at that time, what happened is that there was some connection between Queen of Wands and the King of Swords. So there was some connection between Queen of Wands and the King of Swords, and they figured out something. They connected them, either they met or they connected somehow, and they figured out that they have a common connection, or they have a common intention. This could be because Sushant spoke about it with somebody, and then they figured it out, and that is when these two connected. And when these two connected and they planned, they didn't plan to murder him originally. They didn't plan to murder him originally. And I can say that when this murder happened, and that's kind of what Sushant is conveying to me, that when this murder happened, there was not only one person or one party present there. There were people who were connected to King of Swords, there were people who were connected to Queen of Wands, and there were people who were connected to this human trafficking angle, people who've killed Disha. So there was somebody connected from there as well. And that is why this whole chaos happened. That is why this could not happen so in a controlled way, where nothing would have come out. That is when this whole chaos happened, because there were multiple people with multiple intentions involved in it. Now when they came to kind of do this, they didn't want to kill him. The intention was not to kill him immediately, because there was a lot about his apps and things that was with him, and they wanted to use this knowledge. So definitely it was not to kill him immediately, but because that girl whose soul kind of has connected with a lot of people, and a lot of people have seen and said in paranormals also that there was a soul of a girl, a female child, and that's when the human trafficking angle. So they definitely wanted to kill that girl. So that happened, and then he did not get murdered then. Who got murdered? There was another person who was probably close to Sushant, who Sushant knew, and that is the person whose build might be similar to Sushant, but that's the person who was killed that day, and Sushant was not. And while Sushant was not killed, they intoxicated Sushant, and they kind of, and that's when that dark net comes into place, because there's some money that they generated from it, some betting, something has happened, and that is when they tortured Sushant. So they just wanted to torture Sushant and not really kill him. Now during that torture, I think it was a lot, and Sushant could not take it, and he got paralyzed, and he lost his consciousness. That is when the other body was taken to hospital, or the two bodies were taken to hospital. And Sushant was not dead then. Sushant was definitely not dead then when the bodies were taken to the hospital. And Sushant was taken to some other place, which could be a farmhouse, looks like a farmhouse, and it can be a farmhouse that belonged to King of Swords, or that belonged to people who are involved in Disha's murder and human trafficking. So that is when Sushant was taken to one of those places, because, and it's definitely a farmhouse that he was taken to, his body was taken to, and he was not dead at that point in time. They wanted to use him, but because he was tortured so much, because so much was done to his body could not take that all pain, his body could not take that all, and that's why they could not save him. And he he left his body, his soul left his body. And in the meanwhile, when the hospital, when the body was taken from hospital and cremation and everything, the last rites were done, at that point in time, it was not Sushant's body. Why? Because if, ask yourself this question, guys who don't believe in this, ask yourself this question. Sushant's body was so much wounded, so much wounded. Was it possible not to see those wounds? Was it possible to just see those wounds and ignore it and burn the body? Now, another thing, why do you think that his pictures came over internet? It could have been like a normal thing where nothing leaked, right? And it could have been just proved like a suicide. The pictures came because it was intentional, and the intention was to show everybody that Sushant is dead, to show everybody, because they had an intention to use Sushant, and they had to actually show it to the world that Sushant is dead. Now the problem happened because when those pictures got leaked, and when those pictures were seen by a lot of people and investigated, and all of those things were done, there was a lot more that came out. And now for that also they were prepared, and that is why in the beginning the case was abatement of suicide and had nothing to do with murder. And between that abatement of suicide and between that murder, there was a gap, and that gap was used to build media. That gap was used to build everything in a way that on everybody's mind only King of Wands plays and Rhea plays, and everybody thinks that they have done that. And that is what their master plan was, and that's what has been successful. Like, everybody is only behind that. And now when Rhea got arrested, I don't see as much videos of Sushant as I used to see earlier. Nobody's even questioning what happened to the other body. Nobody's questioning what happened to his body. Nobody's questioning all those things. And that is because the hype was created in that way, so that if something happens, the king of swords, the queen of wands, and the Disha's murderers, they are not questioned. They all remain on one side, and everything goes, the whole blow goes towards those. And now when I'm saying they are not innocent, definitely they were planning it too, but then they did not do it. The people who did it were different than them. And then, because it was impossible to ignore his wounds, if he was the body who got cremated, because the legs were broken, he was paralyzed, his face, his one eye was open, one eye was closed, his face was so much, there were wounds on his face, his neck. It was not possible not to raise an alarm for that, or not to even see those wounds. It is humanly impossible to do that. And that is where no pictures of cremation and everything is available. Despite of asking, no pictures were shared, because it was not Sushant's body, it was not Sushant. And that truth is going to come out, that truth is definitely going to come out. And also, that body, Sushant's body, is still at that farmhouse that belongs to either of them. Now, how this whole story has been created, or how this whole hype has been created, it is actually making us look at that particular angle that they wanting us to look. And that is where we are ignoring all other angles, we are ignoring all other things and all other loopholes. We are not focusing on that. But that is why this whole chaos happened. And actually, there is king of swords, a queen of wands, and Disha's murderers. All of them are involved in this murder. And that's why originally also we could feel that there are three parties or three people involved. So these are three parties that are involved, and three people, because one from each, two males and one female, are the stronger masterminds of this whole planning. And they did this whole planning. And that is why this girl's body that was found somewhere close to Arabian Sea was found, because she was one who was killed there. The other body was actually cremated, and the Sushant's body is still somewhere in that farmhouse. And guys, that is when it becomes important. And that's why Sushant has been giving this message in every video of his, when I read cards, to raise voice about what happened to his body, who got cremated, where are the pictures about that, who were the other people who died, why is there no noise about them. And uh, also, Also, Sushant somewhere got to know about all of this. He had a hunch that something is going to happen to him and somebody is going to use his data, and that's where all the data that he had, he deleted that data so that nobody else can use it. And then he also couldn't give them much because he didn't have this whole energy in his body, because he kind of lost his life during that. Also, if there were some searches that were done from his phone, there were some things, some tweets that happened from his phone a day before he expired or on the day where he was murdered. So all of that was not done by him. They were done by people who were related to Queen of Wands. It was not done by him. He did not make any tweet, he did not do anything. It was by somebody who was related to Queen of Wands, to actually make it look like he was depressed or make it look like something completely different. And also, not only this, the people from the team of Queen of Wands were actually literally involved in putting this whole theory into practice. And if even if we take from a point of view that because King of Swords and people in Disha's murder, they're very strong and they're very dominating and they kind of have a hold, and they might have put the Queen of Wands or other people related to her in a threat, that's why they couldn't say anything. I would still kind of see that it's not really that they were under threat, that's why they didn't see. There was an intention that they had, and they were completely part of this whole plan. It is not that they were scared and that's why they didn't speak. And now it looks like somebody from them, from them is going to break the silence, somebody from them is going to break under pressure, and then this whole truth is going to come out. But definitely it is going to come out. It will not stay closed, it will not be overpowered with whatever coming in the media right now. Also, for his dog Fudge, he's alive, he's alive, but he's somewhere, he can identify the murderers, he can be help in this whole case, he knows what happened, or he knows he can be a witness or a help to identify who killed the Sushant. And that is why only videos of him are shared by on the internet. But he's not used in investigation at all, he's not used in any way to figure out who were real criminals who actually killed Sushant. And he can identify, he can be of help, but he's not used. He's just he has been kept away from all of this because he somewhere knows the truth, he has seen the truth. Also, actually, what led to this chaos and how this murder, came out as a murder was because the planning was from not the beginning, because different people were planning it at different zones, at different levels. They connected very late with each other, and when they connected very late with each other, the planning could not go as it was planned, because it was not really planned as a murder originally. And partially, probably some like Disha, people who are involved in Disha's murder would wanted a murder to happen, and Queen of Wands would wanted the murder to happen, but the King of Swords didn't want the murder to happen because he had his own interests into it. There was money that was supposed to be flown from it, and that is why this whole situation, this whole confusion happened. And that is why the torture and the video that was made, or that live telecast, some kind of telecast that happened to raise money. Again, it was all about money. But for Queen of Wands, it was not about money. Queen of Wands, it was about jealousy, it was about power, it was about money, but partially, but majorly about that. And these are the three people who are actually involved in killing Sushant. They are the actual murderers, and we have to fight for this truth. And all he wants from us is, whether you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter, you believe in what I'm saying and what I'm not, please raise your voice about what happened to his body. Please raise your voice about who were the other people who were killed into it, what happened to them, where is the investigation on them. Please raise your voice on who killed Disha. Please raise your voice on finding his body. uh, because find if you raise your voice, at least what will happen is, you can maybe prove that I'm wrong, because there are pictures of cremation that come out and we see Sushant's dead body. But at least make that happen, maybe to prove me wrong, to prove Sushant's soul wrong, it doesn't matter. But raise your voice for all of this, so that we can reach that level where the truth starts to come out. And it is going to come out, no matter how much whoever hides, it is going to come out. So this is why this whole confusion is, this is why there's not one person involved. This is why this whole chaos is in. This is why these different people from different areas of life come into my reading every time, and that is why you also feel confused as to which angle is right. So this all three were involved. And then I would request you to, if you can, share this so with any and everybody that you can. I'm not saying share my video, but at least share this thought, so that they can also raise voice about the body. And that will be all that I would want to tell you. And thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.